What is going on, guys? Hello and welcome back to the GoingFor2.com NFL Sports Betting Show. We're back for week 2 of the NFL season. Very sorry, my apologies. I was not able to get a week 1 podcast out. I was in Europe the whole week leading up to week 1, and then my plane got in on Sunday. Missed all the noon games, was pretty bummed. I was in Amsterdam on Sunday. Log on to my bookie, try and make a couple bets for the games, and apparently that's the only illegal thing in Amsterdam is sports gambling. Apparently you can't do it there, so I was not able to make any bets. However, I would have had like the Saints money line in like every single bet and parlay, so maybe it's a good thing that I was not able to bet on Sunday. It was a great first week of football, a lot of storylines. You got Savior Sam Darnold killing it for the Jets. Patrick Mahomes' era in Kansas City started off really well, 4 touchdowns, AFC Offensive Player of the Week for him. And then, of course, Tampa Bay destroying everybody's parlays. Saints money line just went to shit. Everybody up in arms. Vegas made so much money on all those bets because it was an anchor for a lot of money in Vegas this week. So here's to hoping we have another great week 2 here. So, with me today is the founder of Vertex Betting, Eli Rozenfeld, to help me break down the slate. Eli, how we doing tonight, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Not too bad. How was week 1 for you? I know. I'm gonna be honest. I took a look at vertexbetting.com. Saw a lot of Saints money line in there, my man.
Yeah. The Saints absolutely kill me. What I try to do usually is teasers, and I have most of them hooked up to the Saints, and the Saints just absolutely killed every bet pretty much.
Vegas made so much money on the Saints. It's just unbelievable. They had such a good week. Everybody had basically Saints money line, Saints teaser to make it a PK. Everything was Saints this week. I don't think I've been more shocked by an outcome than that game. I think the only one that I can remember was last year, the Chiefs, who were really hot. They lost to like the Giants, who had won a game. That's probably the last time that I've just been absolutely shocked by an outcome. So I was shocked. Fitzpatrick and the Bucs should not have come into New Orleans and won that game.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, what can you say? We got Fitzmagic. He just he had great throws, even ran in the touchdown. I mean, he killed them.
He had like 44 fantasy points, something like that. Ridiculous. So there's usually, there are 16 games. It's football. Injuries happen. There usually is some sort of weird wonk, something that happens every week. But that one was a shocker for sure. So, like I said earlier, I was in Europe, so I luckily would have had Saints money line in all my parlays and everything. But Amsterdam does not allow sports betting, so logged onto my bookie and it said it was blocked. So it's probably good for the best. So we're gonna jump into these lines here. Eli and I will be having a little competition, guessing the lines. Eli and I have written down our picks. We're gonna be taking shots at what we think the spread is for all the Sunday games. We're not doing Thursday night football or Monday night football. And then Houston, Tennessee, the line is not out for that game yet because of Mariota's status for Sunday. But we're going to jump right in. Eli's got his guess, I've got my guess, and we're going to see who can come closer to the spread. So you ready to do it, man?
Yep, that's right.
Let's do it. So I'm a big Vikings fan, and I know Eli is a Packer backer, so let's start there, man. Minnesota Vikings at Lambeau Field, taking on the Green Bay Packers. This is probably the marquee matchup of the week. It's definitely going to be the best game of football this week, I think. So it's at Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers still sort of questionable. I think he'll probably play. How much he'll play, like what his status will be. He's on one leg, but he can still win football games, man, and he's Aaron Rodgers. So My guess is Green Bay by a point. What do you think, Eli?
I thought actually Minnesota would be favorite, so I would have said Minnesota -1.
The actual spread for that game is Green Bay by 1.5 points at home. Over under 46, and then Minnesota's money line -115, Green Bay's -130. So Minnesota has historically been terrible at Lambeau with Rodgers there. Um, and you're a big Packers fan. What do you think about the? I know we did it last Monday night was a weird game. Like Deshaun Kaiser saw action. Like it was against the Bears. It was just a very strange game. I didn't really know what to think or how to gauge the Packers. How do you think they're going to fare this year? Are you pretty high on them this year?
I was pretty high. The problem, as always, is the Packer defense and also a lack of running backs. So we're hoping in week 3 when Jones comes back, he could do well. But I think until then, they'll struggle to run the ball. And I think against Minnesota, like, I mean, they're stacked everywhere. And I don't think Rodgers can do what he did against the Bears, against Minnesota, because he pretty much has to stand in the pocket, I think, and just throw darts pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago when the Packers made the playoffs, the Vikings defense still had Harrison Smith, Anthony Barr, Everson Griffin, and at Lambeau he had just an amazing performance and was able to make the defense look foolish. So I'm thinking that's kind of gonna be what we're gonna see on Sunday again. However, he is on one leg basically, so if like I think the strategy for Minnesota is just gonna be blitz, 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 try and hurt him basically, and yeah, get him to be uncomfortable in the pocket. That's the only way they're gonna win. Anything we like? Anything we like on this game, Eli? What do you think? Are you making any bets on this? I have a couple here.
I'm probably taking Minnesota, honestly.
Minnesota money line,
I
huh?
mean, I usually try to not bet with my heart, but like I don't see how a Rodgers on one leg can beat Minnesota, and I just think that team is just pretty much complete now, and yeah, and Packers have so many holes all over the roster.
For sure, for sure. I don't know. I just think Aaron Rodgers on one side. It's at Lambeau. It's the team that injured him last year. I'm thinking a big performance from him. But one prop, I was looking at a couple props, and one that I did like is Dalvin Cook to score a rushing touchdown is -120. I think he runs all over the defense, and I think they use him a lot. I think Dalvin Cook gets into the end zone here. That's the one main bet from this game that I like a lot. What do you think about that one?
I like it. Yeah. I think Minnesota has too many weapons on offense, frankly, and the Packer secondary is pretty much rookies. So I think he'll probably have a good day.
For sure. Me too. Me too. All right. So you're taking Minnesota. I'd probably stick with Green Bay. I don't know. We're sort of switching fandom there, but I don't know. I feel Green Bay can take this one, but we'll see come Sunday. That's going to be a great matchup. Great matchup. All right. Next game on the slate: the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Washington Redskins in Washington. Washington 1-0. They really took it to the Cardinals last week. Indianapolis lost to the shitty Bengals. So my guess here is Washington by 5 points, sort of in that Vegas range there. What do you think for this game?
I guess Washington -4.
Those both sound like pretty solid guesses. The actual Vegas spread is Washington by 6, actually. which seems
Yes.
a little generous, but I don't know. Andrew Luck on the road, he's not 100%. That Colts defense, man, is so bad, dude. I looked at their depth chart and I can't name like one player on their defensive side of the ball. I just can't. Like I have no idea who plays defense for them. And Alex Smith looked really good last week. So yeah, anything stick out in this game for you? This is kind of a weird one. I'm not sure what to think. Two teams, AFC versus NFC. They're both pretty bad. So what do you think?
Alex Smith looked pretty good. Freaking Peterson, I mean, he
Yep.
killed us last week.
Yep,
That
for
was,
sure.
that was interesting.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt.
so I just think Washington also has too many weapons, and the Colts is pretty much Andrew Luck with pretty much Ty Hilton and a whole bunch of crap, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, on the offensive side of the ball, they don't have any weapons either. I don't even know who plays running back for them now that Max. I'm not sure what's up with him, but this is a weird one. I don't know. I don't like. I'd take the Redskins, but I don't. Nothing really sticks out to me in this game. The over/under's 46.5. Redskins money line is minus 260. Indianapolis is plus 210. Yeah, nothing really sticks out to me here, but I don't know. The Redskins, if they win this game, they're 2-0. They could make a interesting wild card push, and especially if Nick Foles continues to play, we'll see what happens with that division. But nothing really sticks out to me other than that. Anything from this game you're betting on?
Probably not, no.
Yeah.
I'm not. The over-under is kind of what we're expected. Minus 6, it's like I don't really want to take either side.
Exactly.
If anything, boy, I mean, Andrew like covering a 6. I kind of like that, but I just like I feel confident.
Yeah, I agree.
in that.
Yeah, I'm not putting any money on this game. There's just too many. I haven't seen enough of either of these teams. They have a lot of new guys, so I'm skipping this game for sure. Next on our slate, we got the 1-0 Panthers taking on the 0-1 Atlanta Falcons. Carolina looked pretty good against Dallas. Atlanta came up a little short against the Eagles in Week 1. It's a division game. These teams usually play pretty close, and the Panthers can never really seem to win at Atlanta in recent years. But I don't know. Deion Jones is out for Atlanta, and I really didn't like what I saw from them. They only put up 12 points against the Eagles. I know they're home dogs, but I said Carolina by 2, which I don't know if I'm confident on that line. What do you think?
I mean, I'll probably say Atlanta by 4. Let's say.
Interesting. The actual
Yeah.
Vegas line is, you got this one, W for you, Atlanta by 5. So they didn't like my home dog pick, but I see the Panthers winning this game. I don't know why, I just have a feeling. And I know it's like an odd year for them. They usually are great one year, then suck the next, but I think Carolina's going to be pretty good this year. Over under
I think so too, yeah.
over under 44.5. Carolina money line plus 200, Atlanta minus 250. So I threw Carolina here. My main bet that will break into pieces here. I'm doing a 13-point teaser, and Carolina's one of my teams. So it's Atlanta by 5. Carolina, I'm bumping to plus 18. I think that's a really safe pick, and I think they actually win the game. So that's one of my anchors for my teaser that I'll be betting on is Carolina bumping up to plus 18. I went back in their schedule last year to see if they lost a game by 20 points. They actually did lose to New Orleans by 21 in Week 3, but other than that, they either won or covered every game. So that I really like. So that will definitely be part of my main teaser is Carolina plus 18. Any insights on this game? Anything you like? It's kind of a tough matchup, a division division foes taking on each other.
Remember that Keanu and Neil will be out, so that also like adds a little help to the Panthers. I think.
Definitely.
Over-under at 44 is kind of interesting to me. I feel like it could be a shootout, honestly.
I agree.
What do you think of that?
I'm historically terrible at over-unders. I'm just so bad with them. I don't really know what to look for. Punt return touchdowns and special teams usually add into it when I don't want it to. So I usually have no feel for over-unders, but I would take the over if I was going to bet on it for sure. I like it.
I think I might, yeah. And plus, Keanu Neal's out, and Kuechly, I think, is also, like, banged up, so I think I like the over.
Yeah, and Thomas Davis is suspended too for 4 games, so he's a big anchor in that defense as well. Yeah, I was way off with this game on my spread pick, but I think Carolina can sneak out a W. I think Atlanta, they're just so boring, man. They're just like not what they once were. Steve Sarkisian is not a good offensive coordinator.
Exactly, right.
I just don't see it. I think Carolina can win this game. I love them in my tees at plus 18, so that's one of the things that I'll be betting on for sure. We'll get to the other parts of my tees here when we talk about a few other teams. So the next game on the slate is the Los Angeles Chargers. Pretty proud of myself for not saying San Diego, taking on the Buffalo Bills. Boy, oh boy, I don't know what the fuck's going on in Buffalo right now, man. You got Nate Peterman was announced the starter. I don't know who decided that. What the fuck was up with that? The Chargers, who everybody seems to be high on this year, came out flat against Kansas City, so hopefully they can bounce back. My guess is the Chargers by 9 with Josh Allen starting. What do you think?
I would have guessed Chargers by 10, probably.
Vegas actually says Chargers by 7.5. So they're begging you to put it in a tease, and God knows that I'm gonna. I have the Chargers as another part of my tease team. 13-point teaser brings 7.5 down to 5.5, so they can lose by 5, and you still get that. I really like that. There's no way the Chargers lose this game, right? What do you think?
I don't think so, no. Buffalo just trash pretty much everywhere, except for McCoy. I think Chargers, after last week, Cooper really get up for this game. And they should win it easily, I think, frankly.
Yeah, I do as well. They played okay against Kansas City. I mean, they should have won that game, though. Like, they were favored, but Mahomes just dominated them. But Chargers by 7.5 is what Vegas says. Over-under is 43. The Chargers money line minus 315. Damn, I kind of like that, too. Plus 255. I mean, the Chargers should win this game handily. They destroyed him last year when Nathan Peterman played, so I'm kind of bummed that he's not playing again. He had 5 picks.
Yeah, me too.
He had 5 picks in the half, famously. But Josh Allen is not much better, I don't think. So we'll see. But I like the tease for me, moving the Chargers to they can still lose by 5 in the 13-point teaser, and you win. Anything you like here? I also like the money line as well. I mean, minus 315 is not bad. That's not bad at all for it should be an easy W.
I agree, and I'll probably do a 7-point teaser, so I'll take them from a 7.5 to half. I mean, like they just have to win, and I might take him with Minnesota. Minnesota plus 8.5. It means that they could still lose by touchdown, still cover.
I like it for sure. The 7-point teasers still scare me a little. 13-point teasers do not scare me at all. When they're giving you 13 points, 2 touchdowns, that's a lot in the NFL. So I love me some 13-pointers. But yeah, you're the teaser king, man. Your teasers are always on point, and that seems like a really easy one. Hopefully they don't fuck us like the Saints last week. The next game we're looking at here, this is probably my second favorite game of the week. The Kansas City Chiefs at Heinz Field taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kansas City looked incredible week one, and then Pittsburgh almost fucking blew it and lost to the Browns. And they fucking tied. Embarrassing start to the season. Of course, Lev Bell is still out. James Conner, though, gave you like 85% of Bell last week, so I'd be home donging it again, but Pittsburgh looked awful. Ben Roethlisberger had 3 picks. He got sacked a bunch, and the offense just really didn't click. I'm saying Kansas City by a point is my guess. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say Pittsburgh minus 2.5, kind of, maybe.
I know you live in Vegas and you're way better at these than I am. You got it this time. Pittsburgh by 4 points. You can read these like a book, my man. Nice guess. I don't like to just like do straight up spread picks or anything, but KC +4. That's very teasable. First of all, and they won in Los Angeles last week. They can win on the road, so I know Heinz Field is a horrendous, terrible place to play, especially for a young quarterback, but Mahomes was amazing last week. I think he can pull it off again. Do you think that Kansas City can win this game?
I think they can. I don't think they will, though. The thing with Pittsburgh is away, they're pretty much trash. At home, they're just a different team. And I think after last week, they'll come out firing, I think. And I would take Pittsburgh probably -4. I'll be honest with you.
Interesting. Yeah, you're so right, and especially Big Ben. He's just so garbage on the road. Him and Breeze. Their home away splits are ridiculous. So that's why they're favored in this game. I don't know, man. I like KC a lot. They really showed they were in it this year, man. I thought it would kind of be like a rebuild year for them, but they destroyed the Chargers last week, put up almost 40 on them. So on the road as well. So the over-under this game, the highest on the slate at 52.5 points.
Wow.
+170 KC money line, -200 Pittsburgh. You persuaded me. I think Pittsburgh wins this game. They're just a different monster at home. But God, I love watching Lev Bell play football, and it really sucks that he's holding out because he's way more fun to watch than James Conner is. But I agree, man. I wouldn't tease them either. Like, even if I can put them in the 13-point teaser, it'd be KC +17, it sounds good, but I don't know, man. Pittsburgh was in the playoffs last year. They still have Antonio Brown, Big Ben, but Ryan Shazier not being there on defense really hurts them. But we'll see. I think you got it right on the money. I think Pittsburgh -4 is a pretty good bet too. Next on the slate, we have the Miami Dolphins taking on the New York Jets, man. The New York Jets. Savior Sam Darnold is there. Both of these teams are 1-0. If you listen to my prior podcast, you know how high I was coming into the year on the Jets, and week one just confirmed it. They beat the Lions by 31 fucking points. Embarrassed them. So it is at New York. So I'm doing the Jets by 3 points. What do you think?
I think after a game against the Lions, and it was on prime time, I would probably say Jets by 3.5 or 4.
The actual Vegas spread is... I got this one right on the money. It is Jets by 3 points. So chalk that one up as a W for me. Yeah, I mean, again, if you listen to our prior podcasts, the AFC East preview, and then our prop bets. We love Sam Darnold here on the pod. We are really high on the Jets. Their defense looked fucking awesome. They had 5 picks. They had a punt return touchdown. Sam Darnold, Eli, he really seems to he has like the Garoppolo effect. Like when Garoppolo came over last year to San Fran, they went 5-0. People just they were just so it was just like an embarrassment to be on the Jets roster for those players. Then Darnold gets there, and he's really kind of got that Garoppolo effect. Like they guys want to play well for him, pick him up. Like he seems like a great charismatic kid. So I think the Jets at the end of the year we're gonna be like, how the fuck did the Jets go 10-6 or 9-7? I think that they could be the sleeper team this year. What do you think?
I think they could. Like, I think they have a good coach. I like their defense, and the fact that they traded, Bridgewater, it shows how much confidence they have in Darnold. Except for the Patriots, the easiest division to pick up wins. I mean, Miami should be 2 wins. Buffalo should be definitely two easy wins.
Yeah, I mean Miami, they look pretty solid, but like I don't know, man. They're just like they're such a boring team. Like their defense is pretty solid, but Ryan Tannehill is still the quarterback. They don't scare me at all, and it's at New York. That place is going to be rocking with crazy Jets fans. I like New York in this game for sure.
I
And,
do too, yeah.
and like you said, I mean, if they get 2 wins against Buffalo, I think they have no problem doing that. And then 2 wins against Miami, there's 5 wins already, and there's 11 more games to play. They could get at least go like 6-5 in those games. You're looking at 11 wins. So I'm really high on the Jets this year. Of course, the over/under on this game is 44. Miami plus 130 to win this game. Jets minus 150 to win on the money line. Like I said, I'm pretty terrible with over/unders, but I kind of like the under of 44. Both of these defenses are pretty good. Darnold, I don't know if you watched that Monday night game, but the first quarter of that game was like, I know he ended with 2 touchdowns. He looked great. They won. But the first quarter, man, he was awful. First career pass was a pick six. He got sacked a couple times. He was overthrowing guys. He just like the nerves were getting to him in the first quarter, and he picked it up later on in the game. But I like the under of 44. I think this is this has the chance to be like a 15-10 game. I think.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I kind of like potentially teasing the Jets from -3 to +4, and then having the under, you'll be 51.
Yeah, I like it a lot. That's an interesting one for sure.
Like that, yeah.
However, I hate doing the over under, the teasing the over unders because I usually, like I said, it fucks me over all the time.
Yeah, man, I feel you.
But yeah, New York, I'd take the money line on this too, minus 150. I like that a lot too. But that's going to be a pretty good game, I think. I'm really curious to watch this Jets team. I think they're one of the more interesting teams in the league.
Yeah, for sure.
Next game on our slate, we have the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles taking on everybody's least favorite team if you bet on sports, the Buccaneers. Before last week's game, I think if they had just lost, Philadelphia would be favored by 10. But the fact that they upset the Saints, I'm thinking this is a pretty close spread. I'm thinking Eagles by 3 points is my guess.
I would say Eagles by 4.
Split the difference between our guesses. It is Philadelphia by 3.5 points is what Vegas says. It is at Tampa Bay, so they are home dogs. This Nick Foles is still at quarterback, and it sucks because I really want to bet the Eagles all the time in money lines with Wentz because Wentz is incredible. Their defense is awesome. Nick Foles still scares me, man. I know he's the Super Bowl MVP, blah, 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 but he still scares me to bet on. Are you in the same camp? I hate betting with Nick Foles.
Yeah, definitely. I don't trust him. And after what I saw in week 1, I'll probably stay away, honestly.
Yeah, this game.
Even though I love Philly's defense, I'll probably stay away. I want to see one more game out of Tampa Bay and see what they have or what they are. And
Exactly. Honestly, the first couple weeks, teams are still getting the kinks out, and it's really hard to know. Like a team like Washington, they have a new quarterback. Adrian Peterson is at running back. These receivers are all new. The defense is kind of iffy. Like, it's really hard to know what we're going to see from these teams. And Tampa Bay is one of those teams that they have a totally new defensive line. Fitzpatrick is at quarterback now. It's a really weird team. I don't know. Like, are they good? They could possibly be good, which would be weird. I think Jameis lost his job too.
I think so too. Yeah.
So the spread 3.5 Eagles. Over under is 44. I don't really know what to do with that. Minus 190 for the Eagles money line, and plus 160. That would be just fucking insane though if the fucking Buccaneers, who went 4-12 last year, upset the Saints, who should have been in the NFC Championship game, and then the defending Eagles. I just do not see a scenario where they're 2-0. I kind of want to bet the money line, but again, Nick Foles at QB, I don't know. They only beat the Falcons by 6. It's not like there's some juggernaut or anything with him at quarterback. So I'm with you. This is a stay away game for me. It's got a little fishiness to it, you know. I think there's a weird game. I don't know what to think of it. I'm just staying away.
I agree.
Next one on our slate, another possibly trap game. Cleveland at the now 0-1 New Orleans Saints. Cleveland 0-1. Still cannot get in the win column, but they did tie, so they didn't lose. So good for them. Man, Cleveland has such a tough schedule to start the year. They started off at Pittsburgh versus Pittsburgh, then New Orleans, and then oh my gosh, it's going to be a tough road ahead for them. Everybody seems to be after the Hard Knocks. Everybody's talking about them as a sleeper team. Hugh Jackson's still the coach. I don't trust it. New Orleans by 9 is what I said. What do you think?
I would say Saints by 10. I would say.
Great minds think alike. Very close, you and I. You got it right on the money, though. New Orleans by 10 points against the Browns. This seems like an easy teaser candidate, Eli. What do you think? Are we teasing the Saints in like a 10-point teaser, something like that? Maybe even 7 points. You can get them to a field goal W. I think this is an easy win for the Saints, who got embarrassed at home.
I hope so, man. I mean, I can tell you right now, I'm definitely going over the Saints this week, and I would just be floored, if Cleveland can go there and beat them. I mean, it would just shock me. And the Saints at home, I mean, they usually kill teams at home. You know what I'm saying? So I think after last week, the coaches will really get on the defense, and I just think the Saints will roll in this game.
Yeah, the problem with that, though, is like coming into the year, if you had told me who do you think has a better chance of beating the Saints, the Buccaneers or the Browns, I would have said the Browns, man. I think the Browns had a better shot to beat them than Tampa Bay did. Tampa Bay is dog shit, and yet they upset them. So I don't know what the fuck to think about the Saints now. Like that was the kind of game though where it like wakes the guys up. Like holy shit, like we just lost to the Buccaneers. Like they're gonna come back. It's at home. If it was at Cleveland, this would be a different story. I'd be kind of nervous, but it's in the Superdome. For one of my bets, will be a parlay of two teams. The Saints money line at minus 425 will be in this parlay. I think it's an easy W, and Vegas thinks so too. Minus 425 isn't, it's not great, but I can live with it. I can live with a minus 425 money line. The over-under of this game is 50. I don't like anything there. Yeah, I like the Saints this week. I know both of us got our hearts broken in week 1 by them, but we're going back to the well, man. I think they come back. The coaching staff is on their ass this week. Like they're gonna beat Cleveland. There's just no way. They could have been in the Super Bowl last year, so I'm taking the Saints money line for sure in a parlay.
I do for sure, yeah. And also, like, if you think about the Saints division, I'm like, they play with the Falcons and Carolina, and I don't think they can fall down 0-2
Nope.
in that division.
No chance.
I mean, they have to win this game.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. All right, coming in, another divisional game. We got the Arizona Cardinals at the Los Angeles Rams. This one just has the makings of a bloodbath. Cardinals looked awful in week 1. Bradford's the quarterback. He looked terrible. They could not get anything done on offense. They let Washington run all over them. Are we thinking that the Cardinals get like the first pick in the draft this year? I think they think they're like the worst team in the league. What do you think?
No, there's no. I mean, they still have a decent defense. I think it'll be Buffalo who goes like, at 214 or something.
You're right,
But
for sure.
and plus, I mean, they still have David Johnson, so like he'll probably win them a few games. But eventually, they have to go to Rosen. I think they have to see what he has, and they don't want to waste Larry Fitzgerald's last year. I think
Without question, for sure. So that being said, the Rams look really good against Oakland, though. But they are at home. Their first home game. I have the Rams by 11 is my guess.
I would say Rams by maybe 10.
Rams by 10. I actually got this one. Beat you by a point. It is actually LA by 13 points, almost 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
Which is a huge spread for those of you out there. That's a ridiculous spread. The money line, of course, minus 850 for the Rams, which is unbelievably high for an NFL game. You usually only see money lines that high in college football, but I'm still on it, man. We talked about the Saints last game. I'm throwing the Saints money line in a parlay with Rams at minus 850. $1,000 turns into $390. Should be an easy $400. That's my favorite bet of the week. I love bets like that where it's two heavy favorites. You bet a lot on them and you still get a good return. I still like it. It's almost a 40% return and it should be an easy win for the Rams, and the Saints should take care of business too. So, are you throwing their money line in any parlays or anything?
I might. I mean, I don't think Arizona can compete with them. So, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, her Rams money line with the Saints, and if it pays 40%, that's great. Yeah.
Another thing about this game, Arizona's implied total is 16 points. I might go under there, man. They only scored 6 on the Redskins. That's awful. Like, the Rams have so many playmakers. I could see them only scoring 14 points against them. So I kind of like the Arizona implied total of under 16. Do you like that at all?
Yeah, I could see that. We might have a question mark with David Johnson, actually. He has an injury, and he was limited. So if he's out or limited, I mean, that should be easy money.
Oh, definitely. I did not see that on the injury report. Is he questionable then?
He is. I think it's probable, but yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, he's their best player by far. So I mean, if he's out, this game has no chance. So over/under's 45, and then if you're really feeling ballsy, Arizona's plus 605 money line. So yeah, if you really think the Cardinals have a chance, go for it. But yeah, I like the parlay of a New Orleans Rams. Should be 2 easy wins. There's just no way. There's no way that Cardinals win this game. No way.
I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it.
Staying in the California area, Bay Area here, our next game is the Detroit Lions taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Now, before we take the guess here, every week there's usually one game. Of course, last week it was the Saints. This is my trap game of the week, man. I think San Fran's favored by maybe my guess, we'll just take the guess here. Mine's 4.5. What do you think?
After Monday night, probably San Francisco minus 6 or 7 even.
The actual Vegas spread is San Fran by 5.5. So pretty close there. I think you got that one by half a point. This is my trap game, man. I really don't. I'm not gonna be betting. I have one player prop that I'll get to in a second, but everybody should be on the San Fran money line just because Detroit looks so terrible. But I don't know, man. There's something weird about it. Like I just don't know. I think this could be a wonky game. I think Detroit actually could win this game. It's a flaming hot take. I mean, considering how terrible they looked, but I don't know, man. I think this is just one of those. You could not have talked me into Tampa Bay beating the Saints last week. So I think it's more probable that the Lions could beat the 49ers. But this is a weird one for me. 48 is the over-under, plus 215 Detroit money line, minus 265 San Fran money line. What do you think about this game? You like anything here?
Jimmy G's last 5 starts, he was killing it, and I think he might continue this week, frankly. I mean, Detroit just looks horrible everywhere. And Turner plays well away from home, outside. I mean, I kind of like San Francisco, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they're the chalky pick for sure. I mean, they're favored by almost 6 points. But I know Detroit looked terrible, but I don't know, man. Jimmy G does not have a lot of weapons, and it really showed against the Vikings. He was throwing to nobody. He threw a touchdown to Pettis. Like, I was struggling to find the names of his receivers. Also, their defense isn't very good. San Fran's defense is nothing to write home about. And I don't know. Matthew Stafford's a good QB. I just think this is the weird game for me. Like, I don't know. I'm looking at all these other ones. This one sticks out as like a possible trap. You know, everybody's on. San Fran should roll over them, but I don't know, man. I got a weird feeling about this.
I think I agree with you, actually. Honestly, I mean, upon thinking about it, it's just like Detroit has, at least on offense, better players. Without McKinnon there, the Niners' offense could struggle.
Definitely. Breda and Alfred Morris is a terrible running back combo. Probably the worst in the league right now. So, I don't know, man. I'm staying away except for one player prop I really like in this game. George Kittle killed it last week. He's been talked up in fantasy. George Kittle, 47 or more receiving yards, is minus 118. I like it a lot. Almost even money. That should be an easy one for sure. He had 90 yards last week. He looks to be Jimmy G's favorite target. They have a ton of injuries on offense. Jimmy's going to be throwing. That's an easy bet for me. Minus 118, almost even money. George Kittle, over 47 receiving yards, stuck out to me in this game. Other than that, though, I'm not touching any spread, money line, anything in this game. It kind of scares me, so.
I like that. Over 47. That's a good pick.
Yeah, I think so, too. Our next game, we're looking at New England at Jacksonville, little AFC championship rematch. Both teams coming in 1-0. New England look really good against Houston, even though they don't really have a receiving core. They picked up Corey Coleman a couple days ago, which I really liked. What's the deal with that, Eli? Nobody's really Corey Coleman was good, I thought, and then he just got cut by 2 teams. I don't get it.
I mean, if Buffalo cuts you, that should be a wake-up call.
For sure.
I mean, and if it can't work with Brady, I mean, it doesn't have any hope, I think,
Exactly. All right, my guess is sort of a repeat of what happened in the AFC Championship game. I have New England by 3 points. What do you think?
I would too, yeah.
New England by 3. You and me both agree, and Vegas agrees with us too. New England by 3 points in this one. Jacksonville home dog in it in this one. Over-unders 45. Minus 115 for New England money line. Minus 105. Anything stick out to you here? This is sort of a pass game for me. I don't really know the angle or anything on this game. It just seems I think Vegas nailed it perfectly, and I don't really have I think that's sort of what it's going to be. Is New England just barely sneaks out a win in Jacksonville? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we need to keep an eye on whether Fournette plays or not, because if he's out, I mean, that offense is just atrocious, I think.
Absolutely.
So,
I got a weird.
that's the key for me.
Yeah, I got a weird feeling that he doesn't play in this game. I don't know. I saw the injury on tape. I read a couple reports about it. It sounds like they're just like they of course want him to play in this game. They're gonna try and wean him into it, but I think he's not gonna play in this game. He's questionable right now, but I don't see him playing in this one. So if that is the case, it's definitely gonna move the line a bit. And yeah, I just think New England's just they'll figure it out. They beat them last year, and yeah, it should be another easy W for New England. Nothing really sticks out to me here. It should be a pretty straightforward game, I think.
Agree.
Our next game on the slate, 4:25 Eastern Time, Oakland Raiders, soon to be Vegas Raiders, Eli. But I don't think you want them to be in Vegas because they might be the joke of the league right now, man.
I know.
With Gruden running the show there, like, oh man, do you think are they in Vegas next year or the year after?
I think they're Vegas in 2020, I believe.
I see. Does
In 2 years, yeah.
does Gruden make it to Vegas as the coach, or should they find a new coach by then? Because they were just
Oh
atrocious.
my god. I know. He probably has to because he just signed a 10-year contract, so he can't really get out of that. But like right now, his moves have been just you kind of scratch your head, you know.
Exactly. They had one of the worst cut days of all time. They traded Khalil Mack and gave a second round pick with him, which was just embarrassing. They then cut Martavius Bryant, who they traded a third round pick for. Supposedly he's back, but they then traded for AJ McCarron, who makes like $15 million. Like, why would you pay your backup quarterback $15 million? Just pay a rookie like $500K.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
It's weird. It's a weird team. They're taking on Denver, who looked pretty good in week 1. They beat the Seahawks. It's in Denver. Tough place to play. Marquette King revenge game as well. I think Denver by 4 is my guess here.
yeah, I would say Denver by 3.5.
The actual Vegas spread is, wow, Denver by 5.5 in this one. This is interesting because these are two teams with a new coach for Oakland, and then a second-year coach in Vance Joseph, a new quarterback for Denver, and just, I don't know, man. This is a kind of a weird one, too. It's a lot of uncertainty in this game. Like, Denver looked good in week 1. Oakland looked bad. But I think this might be a more interesting matchup than we think. Because Oakland, I mean, if you saw the game, Oakland was with the Rams in the first half. I think it was tied 13-13, or maybe they were up 13-10.
They were up, yeah.
Yeah, so Oakland looked great coming out, but then just the wheels fell off there in the second half. So this is an interesting one. Anything stick out to you? I mean, minus 260 money line for Denver. Spread is 446, or I mean, over-unders of 46. Anything you like here in this game?
I'll probably tease at Denver, I think. I mean, at Denver home with that defense, I don't really trust Oakland's receivers. I just think that whole team just a train wreck, honestly. So I'll probably take at Denver.
For sure. Their defense is just terrible. After Mac left, again, they're with the Colts for me as, like, I look at their depth chart and I don't recognize like any names on that side of the ball. Yeah, I like them. I like them in the tees for sure. I like that pick a lot. I'm sort of staying away from that one. I think Denver could win pretty easily, but there's too much uncertainty. Case Keenum is your quarterback. That's scary, always scary for sports bettors.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I mean, Denver, if they start off 2-0, they could be a sleeper for a playoff spot, for sure. Considering they play Oakland again, which will be 3-0. Alrighty, we're not doing the Tennessee-Houston game or the Monday night game, so the last game on our slate here is another pretty good one in terms of the names of the teams involved, but it should be an interesting one. The New York Giants, who are 0-1, taking on the Cowboys, who are 0-1. So somebody has to be 1-1 by the end of this game. New York, they hung pretty well with Jacksonville, and Dallas just looked atrocious against the Panthers. They only put up 8 points.
Yeah.
Dallas's offensive weapons, other than Elliott, is just it's a joke. It really is. I mean, they have like Jeff Swaim at tight end. I mean, the receivers are like Tavon Austin, Michael Gallup, Terrence Williams, who's never really been anything. Their offense is terrible, and I just don't. I think Jason Garrett's getting fired here pretty soon. So, my guess.
Yeah, he should be. He's
definitely
horrible. Plus, also, I think they still have 2 offensive line injuries with Frederick and I think Smith. So it could be huge as well.
Yep, Frederick has some sort of like immune disease or something. He's going to be gone for a while. So that offensive line is depleted, and they just looked terrible last week. So I'm doing it might be a little low, but I think a PK. I'm thinking this game is a PK. What do you think?
Giants -2. Sorry.
Giants -2 for sure. The actual spread by Vegas is you and I thought we were pretty close. It's Dallas by 3.
Wow.
So we have to bet the spread now. If you and I both were so off on that guess, we have to bet the Giants spread. I like the Giants in this game a lot. I think they're so much better than the Cowboys. I don't know why Dallas is favored, even at home. I don't care. Make them home dogs, because this is a terrible, terrible team. All around, just...
Doesn't make any sense. I mean... Wow.
Yeah, I don't get it at all.
Dallas also released their kicker, who was second all-time in accuracy.
Yeah.
The kicker that comes in and misses a kick. I mean, this is just a train wreck.
For sure. Dan Bailey is not on the team anymore. He's not even old or anything either. So the over-under's 42, plus 125 Giants money line, minus 145 Dallas money line. So I don't know, man. I like the Giants. I guess I'll just take the points. I'll take the +3 for sure, all day.
That's so tempting. I mean, it kind of feels like a Vegas trap, though.
I agree.
You know, like a primetime game, the Giants at Dallas, and they're giving you the way better team at +3. I mean, that's a little fishy to me.
God dang it. You're so right. Man, this might be the trap game we were looking for. Because we were so off on the spread, and so that's usually when you can tell, like, oh, Vegas knows something we don't.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we'll probably have Ezekiel Elliott to run for 150, and Dak Prescott have 3 touchdowns.
Exactly. Exactly. However, the last season, and the game against Carolina was atrocious for him. Are we sure Dak Prescott's a good quarterback? What do you think? What are your thoughts on Dak?
I don't think he is, actually. I mean, he doesn't have weapons, and I get that, but like he just, I don't see anything like, Russell Wilson about him. I'm like, he just seems like a regular, decent quarterback. I don't see anything that makes me think he's a franchise quarterback, honestly.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to pay him here pretty soon, and it's a hard decision to make because I don't know. He's just looked very pedestrian this last year, and the game against Carolina, his offensive line is terrible. The offensive weapons are awful. I know this has every makings of a trap game, but the more and more I think about the players on the Giants defensive side of the ball, especially, like, oh man, this should be an easy W for the Giants. But
It
again,
really should, yeah.
the trap game, man. I see it. I see it right now. Dallas +3 or -3 when they shouldn't be at home. I think you're right. I guess we'll just stay away. Are you thinking of teasing them at all?
I mean, I'll probably tease them because, like, I don't see them losing by 10 points. But, like, when Vegas puts us out as +3 on the Giants, they clearly will want you to put money on that. You know,
Exactly.
I mean, it's pretty
Exactly.
clear.
Yep,
I
for
mean,
sure, for sure. An interesting thing about this game, I mean, new coach Pat Shermer. Every single new coach in week one, there were five of them. Every single one lost. No new coaches coming in for hot coach of the year takes or anything like that. Every coach lost their first game, so maybe Shermer gets on the board here, but one of these teams has got to be 1-1 at the end of the day. We'll see what happens, but that's the last game we're going to talk about. But before we go, just wanted to recap my bets here because this is a sports betting podcast. These are my picks, what my money will be on my bookie this week. So in the Vikings-Packers game, of course, talked about Dalvin Cook to score a rushing touchdown, -120. Really like that one. Probably my favorite bet of the week is George Kittle over 46 receiving yards. -118, almost even money for that. Really like that bet. And then the teaser that we sort of broke down there, 13-point teaser brings it to -130 of Panthers +19, Rams PK, Rams -13 down to the PK, Saints +3 against the Browns, and then to end it we have then Chargers +5.5 against the atrocious Bills. Really like that one. And then my last meal ticket bet of the week, something with a very high chance of winning, but putting a lot of money down on it, is $1,000. Again, if you can't afford 1,000, don't do 1,000, but $1,000 on Saints money line and Rams money line, 1,000 to win $390 should be an easy one. So those are my favorite bets of the week. That's where my money will be on my bookie. If you like Eli's picks, he brings them out about every Thursday. Check vertexbetting.com for his picks. He's been killing it as of late. I know week one was a little bit, but he does baseball. He kills it in baseball, and he's the teaser king. So check out his picks on vertexbetting.com. Thanks for listening, guys.